I'm Justin Folden. I'm from the University of Florida. I'm a PhD candidate in my fifth year, and I'm here with.
John Murray Bruce. I'm an assistant professor at the University of South Florida, so we're pretty close. Yeah.
So my first question would be, how did you get in the field of computational photography?
It's a, it's a great question. I guess I was always interested in imaging and photography in general, especially like imaging space. And because this was something that I was really interested in at a very young age. And then I did an undergrad, I was pretty good at science, physics, and math in general. So I pursued that, studies in that direction. Did my undergrad, and then at that point, my undergrad was in electrical engineering. I focused in signal processing. At first, I thought my focus was going to be in devices, so making cameras, right? So devices, and then I thought, well, actually, I really like this idea of how do you sample signals, images as signals, the real world, and so I did signal processing, and then following that, I actually focused on signal processing theory, so theory and methods for sampling signals that are not naturally band limited, and I realized that had nice applications in imaging. So I found a postdoc. I wanted to leave the UK, so I did my undergrad in the UK. I wanted to leave the UK, so I found a position at Boston University, and they worked on all sorts of cool computational imaging, computational photography problems, and at the intersection of statistical signal processing. And this was it was a nice way to combine things that I like, signal processing and just imaging in general. So that was it. I found the perfect mix. Okay.
So you mentioned that you started your academic career in the UK, and now you run a lab at the University of South Florida. So first question there is, did you experience any culture shock coming from academia in the UK to the US?
I guess that's a great question. I felt during my PhD at least that I was in perhaps a bit of a bubble. It was a huge signal processing group. There was some collaborations, but pretty much all of my papers as a PhD, as a grad student, were, grad student PI papers. So myself and my advisor, and I wanted to change that. So that was something I really wanted to change, and I'd spoken to a few people at conferences, and the general consensus that started to emerge was that the US is a good place to force you to at least collaborate, and so that was something I was pretty intentional about when I moved to Boston University. Collaborated a lot within the group, established connections across as well with other people that have been really useful now. So, and that's why we're encouraging this for you guys to go out there, find people, talk to them, and form these mentor-mentee relationships. Nice early.
So being a PI of a lab seems challenging.
That's very easy.
It's very easy, yeah. So what would be some advice for those that are looking to walk that path of professorship?
First of all, I'd say do it. If you're thinking about it, do it. You need I guess for me, the biggest thing that's helped is having a network that you can rely on. Okay, so having someone that you can call, because there will be, or email, there will be challenges, huge challenges along the way. Ideas not panning out, money running out. You know, there will be big challenges along the way, and just having someone who's perhaps gone through it or has more experience that you can talk to is, for me, has been the biggest, one of the biggest, factors that has helped my career, at least.
That makes sense. Okay. So, so what's your favorite part of the job so far?
The students. So the students, I enjoy both engaging with the students that I teach. Okay, so I teach classes as well as students who are driving the research. The creativity is just absolutely astounding. I'm surprised, amazed by how creative you guys are, and that really drives me. That does inspire me to also be better and be on top of the work and the research and so on. Okay.
Okay. So, what is your mentorship philosophy?
That's a broad question. So mentorship philosophy. In what sense?
So, how do you handle your students in a lab?
Okay, so I have a pretty hands-on, hands-off style. It's a good mix of both. I get my hands dirty in the lab, so we go in, we work on experiments together, we'll set up, we'll do calibrations together and so on. So I'll get my hands dirty with the nitty-gritty stuff. We'll write code, we'll review code together. So I'm pretty hands-on in that sense. In terms of thinking about problems, earlier on, I encourage certain problems, and then as they progress, as they grow, I become a little bit more. I take more of a kind of a hands-off approach in the picking problems, or picking what they think is interesting. Because ultimately, when they go out, to hold similar positions, essentially the very next step, this is what they'll need to be doing, right? So I essentially try to nurture creativity, create a space where my students can explore problems and be open about what they're thinking and so on. Okay.